Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the car boot crafter, and you may have seen on Monday where I made this mug. It was this actual mug, and showed you this that I've made for Dad for Father's Day. So it's one of these mugs in some cellophane with some Ferrero Rocher. So I had a few questions about it, particularly about people asking if you haven't got any of the fancy equipment that I use, what did I use? Scoreboards, die cutting machine to circle dies. What else did I use? Oh yes, the envelope punch board. And a few people said they wanted to make it, but how do they make it without using all of those bits and pieces? So I'll show you how to make one of these mugs without using anything apart from one sheet of A4 card, a pencil. I'm using a pen so that you can see it, a pencil, a ruler and a pair of scissors, and that's all I'm going to use to make one of these. So you've got your A4 sheet of paper, and just measure it and cut to 9.5 by 7 3/4 across. We can get rid of that piece, but we're going to keep this thicker off piece because that's how we're going to make our handle. So I'll pop that to one side and I can get rid of that thin piece. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is measurements. So you will be doing lots of measurements on this because without a scoreboard, that's the only way to get the folds. So first thing we're going to do is on the long side. So this is the long side here, the 9.5 inch side, and we're going to just pop our ruler there, and using a pencil, I'm using the pen only because you can see where I'm marking. So 1.5, a little mark, then 3 inches, I'm putting another mark, 4.5 mark, 6 inches mark, 7.5 inches mark, and then mark at 9. So you've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little marks along that edge. Bring it down to the other end and do exactly the same at this end. So line your ruler up so that your end is at the edge of your paper, and it doesn't matter which way you go, whether you start this way or this way, it doesn't matter at all. So 1 inch, 3 inch, 4.5 inch, 6 inch, 7.5 inch and 9. Okay, and once you've done that, get your pencil, or if you've got a scoring tool, use a scoring tool, and just draw those lines in. Okay, if you don't want to be rubbing out, you don't have to draw the lines in. What you can do, and I'll show you what you can do straight away, but I'm going to draw them in so you can see them. So this is our 4.5 inch mark. Line them up and draw them in, and the next one, and draw that in, and this is the first, this is our 1.5 inch mark, so I've drawn that in. If you don't want to draw them in, then just exactly the same as I've just done, line up your 2 marks like that on your ruler, and then just bend your paper up like that. And then using the handle, like I said, I'm not using any tools other than these 3. Use your handle to reinforce that score, like that. Then go to the next one, open that out, go to the next one, line up your 2 marks, and again bring that across, fold it over, and use your scissors or whatever you've got to hand. The thing is, if you've got any of the tools, If you've got a scoreboard, then use your scoreboard to do this. You know, it's not a question of either or. Either use all of the fancy tools or use none of them. Use what you've got to hand. So if you've got a scoreboard, use that. If you haven't got a scoreboard, then do this. Okay, almost done. And I like to turn it round when I get to there. It just makes life a little bit easier for me being right-handed. So line those two. So I've got my line that I'm lining it up against, but if you've just got your 2 marks, then just line it up to your 2 marks. And then last one, line that up like that. There you go. And that's got all of those ones done. Then turn it, and it doesn't matter whether you turn it that way or that way. Turn it round, and you're going to do the same again, but this time with slightly different measurements. So this time at the top end, you're going to mark 2 1/4, which is there, and at 6. So just the 2 1/4 and 6. And then down the bottom here, 2 1/4 and 6. And again, I'm going to draw the lines in, but you can just line that up, bring those over and fold it in exactly the same way. I've got the line in there so you can see. I've already creased it slightly, so we'll do that. And then across to the next one. And sometimes it helps to put your pen down and just bring your ruler over to it. So there we go. Drawn the line in, and I'm going to bring that card up and then use the back of my pen, back of my scissors to fold that down. So there you go. So that is if you haven't got a scoreboard. Okay, so grab your scissors, exactly the same as we did in the last one, and cut away this corner here. So I've cut at a slight angle, and the same with this corner at a slight angle, and then get rid of that corner and score line. Like that. So we end up with a piece of card with this as our tag, which is what we're going to use to glue later on. Okay, now we're at this point, we're going to check which is the smaller square. So this one is smaller than these ones, so these are the ones I'm going to work on. So this was when I would normally bring in my envelope punch board, but we're not going to. So this time I'm going to go back to my ruler, and I'm going to measure up 1/2 inch from the bottom. I've got a little mark there, and I'm going to do that on all of these lines. Just measure up 1/2 inch like that. 1/2 inch. Just put a little mark. Use a pencil because you can rub it out later. Although if this is the inside for you, then it doesn't really matter. Okay, and when you get to this end, you're going to measure 1/2 inch up. So measure from here, from this edge here, up. So you've got 2 in this box. Okay, next thing you're going to do is go back to these lines starting at the top, and what you want to do is to measure 1/2 inch either side of the line. The way I do it is I just pop my ruler on the 1/2 inch, so there's my 1/2 inch, and then I put a mark at 0 and a mark at 1. and then I'll come down and do exactly the same on all the others. Mark at 0 and a mark at 1, and you're going to do that all the way down to the bottom of your cup, your mug, which, well, it will be once we've glued it all together. So there and there. Okay, and don't forget to do the bottom one, which I nearly forgot to do. There and there. Okay, so we pop that to one side. So now we have a triangle. When we join up all those lines, we've got a triangle. Okay, going all the way up, and at this end you've got one that comes down as well as one that goes up. I'm just marking those really quickly, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut those. So starting at the bottom, I'm going to cut from that first mark. You don't have to draw your triangles in. I'm just doing those so you can see, and just cut that out. Then, exactly as I did on the other one when we used the punch board, I'm going to fold that back and cut through both layers. So cut like that and like that. And we end up, it's a bit like a Christmas cracker, we end up with that shape in our card, and that's exactly what we want. If you remember on Monday's video, we did exactly the same but using the punch board. Fold this over, grab your scissors and come in again. I am coming in slightly under the ½ inch mark, but that's just about personal preference. You can go to the ½ inch mark if you want. Okay, and just do that all the way till you get to the top. Two, three more to do. Keep folding it over. And cutting those triangles out. Last fold. Now don't forget these won't be seen, so don't worry if they are slightly uneven. Then when you get, so that's what we've got to that side. We need to do the top one, so turn it round, fold that tab back so that it's out of the way, and then cut in. And you remember how, even using the envelope scoreboard, we had a funny little shape there, and that's absolutely fine. If it bothers you, you can just cut that away, but it doesn't bother me, and I think it actually adds to the bit of strength for our mug. Now, next thing I'm going to do is grab some glue and just run some along here. Now, it's this end. Don't glue this end down too much, because that's where our tag is going to go. So a little bit of glue on there. And while that's drying, I'll show you how I do the handles. Of course, if you've got a die cutting machine and circular dies, then do them the same as I've done them on the other video. So you know I like to rub and push that glue into the card, flip it over so that it'll dry that way. So do you remember that piece of card that we cut off? There was a bit of waste. Just fold it in half like that, and again use your back of your scissors to cut it down, and then from the creased end come up 3 inches and mark, and then come to the other side 3 inches and mark. And then I'm going to draw a line and follow the line, but if you're happy to just grab your scissors and cut from mark to mark, then do that. So this gives us a 3-inch long piece of card for our handle. Let's get rid of those. And next thing I want to do is I want to cut it down to 2 inches. So this is 2 1/4. So I'm just going to cut it down ever so slightly to 2 inches. So I'm just taking that 1/4 inch off. So let's line that up and cut that away as well. Okay, so now we've got that folded piece of card. So grabbing your ruler and your pencil again, you're going to measure in 1/2 inch on all of your sides. Half an inch, and I'm going to come this way 1/2 inch, like that, and the same going this way, 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, and here 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, and then you're just going to draw and join those lines up like that. And you'll end up with a square. Hold on one sec. Aha. Hadn't come far enough over with that one. So 1/2 inch there, and last one. Half inch there. So you've now got that shape in your card, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut away all of that, so we've just left with that bit. So scissors again, and cut down those lines, and this side. And we're going through, let me just show you, we're going through both thicknesses of card. So let's push that out the way and cut up like that, and there. So we've cut those two rectangles out, so we've now got a piece that looks like that. Okay, so we've got our 1/2 inch line here which goes across our score line here, so we're just going to cut up the score line until we meet that mark there. So we've just cut up to there like that. Because we've drawn on here, we're going to fold that in. So instead of having things with all our marks on there, we're going to fold that inside and glue it down. Oh, now hold on one second. What we are going to do is we're going to glue it down, but we're not going to glue our 1/2 inches. So there, I can see them here. I need to make a mark on this one, don't I? So I'm just going to fold it over where that 1/2 inch mark is there. So I'm going to make a mark there where I've just folded it over, because we don't want to glue these, because these are going to be the tabs to glue our handle onto our mug. Okay, but we are going to glue the rest of it. So don't glue that square. I lay it down. Don't glue that square. So we don't want glue on there or on there. Actually, I didn't need to do it because I'm going to put the glue on this side, aren't I? So I didn't need to do that, but hey ho. I'm just putting glue around there. Bring that over. Fold these out of the way so we don't get any glue on them. So I'm folding them back like that. And that then is going to be our handle. To finish it off, and I'm going to do this by hand, but please don't judge me because I am just useless at corner rounding by hand. But get your scissors and just corner round those ends. Okay, that was not too bad. Better than usual. I'm going to do this one as well. Oops. Yeah, that was not so good. So yeah, so that looks a bit more handle-like now, doesn't it? So I'll pop that to one side to dry. And now this should be dry, so I can start working on this again, the body of the mug. So again, I'm going to fold everything over and use the back of my scissors to reinforce those scores like that. And then I'm going to do exactly the same as we did on the other one, the red mug. I'm going to take out these score lines by cutting them away. So you take your first score line, fold it back and just cut along that score line and take away a tiny little bit, and you're just aiming to release that. If I lay that down, you can see it is just a tiny amount that I've taken away, and then carry on doing that. Fold that back and take away, whoops, tiny little bit. Just want to remove the score line and release that. And last one. There we go. Let me just do a little bit of tidying up. Get that out the way. And it's exactly the same as we did with the last one. Hopefully you haven't glued this down too much. Oops, that has caught there. Let me just release it a little bit. That's going to be inside, so it doesn't matter too much. So again, same as we did before, on the outside of this tab, put some glue, and on the inside of this tag only go as far. So this is my folded over piece of card, don't go any further than that. So some glue on there, and this enables it to glue in both sides in here. So bring that round, slot it into there. Oh, now, nearly forgot, didn't I? Cut yourself 6 pieces of 3" by 1¼ inch patterned paper, and just glue these on like that. And I'm just doing this really quickly. This is just to show you I'm not actually going to gift this one, so I'm just doing it for the video, for the sake of the video. And I might keep it on the side actually, and maybe use it for a pencil pot or something. There we go. And you're going to put 5 with this. You're going to put 5 on. Don't put all 6 on, and I'll show you why in a minute, because we need to find a way to attach the handle. Right, there we go. That's got that on. That's got that on. So that helps. And again, no tools, so I'm going to use the back of my scissors to just push that glue into the card and the paper. Right, as we were, haven't smudged the glue, that's good. So slide that into that little pocket and line that up. You want the edge of your score mark to nestle really nicely with the edge of your card there. Right, you can fold it flat and use your bone folder or the edge of your scissors to reinforce that glue. Okay, and exactly the same as we did with the last one, only this time I'm using my scissors. Just pull and kind of round that a little bit, or you can use your fingers if you prefer. This card is slightly thinner than the red card I used, so it may, yeah, I think it's going to fold even easier with my fingers. Look, just bend it. A little bit of heat from your fingers helps it to bend, and this then helps with the whole look of the mug. And I know you can see all my pen marks. That's why if you are doing one of these, use a pencil or bi-eye it. Okay, exactly the same as before. Try and get it fairly circular, and then here's my glue bottle. Bring in your first one, a line of glue, and line it up. And the straighter you get this first one, the easier it is. Again, don't pull it too tight, because the rounding off there, oh, I didn't round that piece off, the rounding off there will help with the shape. So if you pull it too tight, it's going to overlap too much. I don't want to overlap it too much because the glue might just grab on me. Get your fingers in there, keep that all lined up, then move on to your next one. A bob of glue there, bring that one in. That one's nicely curved, so bob of glue there, bring that over, keep that nice and straight. That's just grabbed. Little bob of glue, bring that one over, glue on there, keep that nice and straight, then flip it over. Whoops, flip it over, and I'm going to use a rule. Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to stick to what I've been using, which is the handle of my knife, my scissors, or I can use the bottom of my scissors just to push that card and paper all together. Remember to keep that as circular as you can, like that, and get the hand in there. Okay, so that's that. Right, bring in your handle and your last piece of card, which is going to go on there. What you're going to do with this is turn it over, and I'm going to eye it. I'm not going to measure, but I'm going to just draw a line down 1/2 inch from that end, and exactly the same from this end, although I want to keep it nice and straight, so I'm going to come 2.5 inches down to the end. So now I've got 1/2 inch both sides. Then I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut that 1/2 inch out. So just either side, just very slightly, either side of that line, like that. And then cut it away, like that. I'm going to do the same on this side. So I've just cut to the side of that line, and now I'm just cutting to the other side. Bring that up and get rid. There we go. So that now gives us 2 slots that we can slot into our handle, like that. Oops, get in there. There we go. So we've got that now, and that is going to help us now to glue our handle onto our mug without having those ugly, if we hadn't done that, when you put it on there, you've got these ugly tabs showing. Okay, so I'm going to pop a bit of glue on the back of those, just a little bit, nothing, not too much, because I just want it to hold it. Let's slot that in and open that up so that it just holds there, like that. And then I'll bend my card down, and I'm going to do the same on this one. So a little bit of glue on the back on both of those, and glue it to there, like that. Okay, it does stick over ever so slightly, so if it bothers you, then just trim that out, like that. Just a little trim. I'll go this way, it's easier. Just a little trim, like that, and just trim out the tabs, like that. And then when that's grabbed, put glue all over the back of this, all the way down, and that then goes on that blank piece that's waiting for us, like that. Use your fingers to push the glue into it, like that. And that then is a mug made without all the fancy tools. If you haven't got a circular punch or a die, then hand cut a small circle out. Have I got any of that card left? No. And again, please don't judge me, but I'm useless at doing circles, but this will be as circular as I can get it, which is not very circular at all. And that then goes on there to cover all of those workings. And there you go, another paper mug, only this time we're using nothing but a bit of glue, A4 paper, a little bit of fancy paper, a ruler, a pen, and a pair of scissors. So there you go. You can still make that lovely mug without any of the fancy tools. Okay, I hope that's explained a few things. And like I said, if you've still got your scoreboards or any of the other bits, then it just makes it a bit easier. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.